Hello, everybody. Just getting everything live here, and we will begin. Okay, we got audio, set it for public, and off we go to the rodeo. Okay, so my live a little earlier today was quite long, and we were talking about anxiety and how it feels in the body and how this is pretty typical for a lot of people. And if anything, anxiety has got way worse with the pandemics and other things that are going on in the world. Anxiety is just another form of fear, kind of programmed into our body to keep us bad. And then we put mandates for covering our face and other things, which basically creates more fear and gives reasons for people to attack each other and a lot of cognitive dissonance and other things. And essentially, we're just disconnected from our body. It's just like, I don't want to live here anymore. So our energy is trying to come out the top of our being. And really, we're not feeling anything anymore. We are completely and totally trapped in our story, in past trauma and other things. And we're really not processing the world anymore. We can't even feel our body. We can't even feel sensations. We can't feel pleasure. We can't feel anything. So it just basically winds us up. And then we're filled with cortisol and all these other nasty chemicals that are part of stress. And basically our body starts to get sick. It starts to shut down. We get cancers, we get diseases, mental illness, all these things because our world doesn't make sense. And we're born here as innocent little souls, just wanting to experience love and pleasure and fun and play and all this kind of stuff. And then a very complicated world gets wrapped around us from our lineage and our parents. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about lineage before we get deeper into how to heal this. But essentially, imagine yourself, and shamanism teaches us that we are the result of our last 10 generations. It actually probably even goes further than 10 generations. So let's say you have something where you got a trauma and back the robber baron or whatever took all your money and took your home, and your parents have this instilled fear of having authority take money away from them, of losing the home and the fact that you might die and all these kind of things. And their fears program into you, their anger programs into you. That thing was never resolved. They died poor and penniless and angry. And guess what? You, as part of the lineage, picked it up. If you're their children and you were there as part of the experience. And then what if your mother at the same time, she got raped or something happened in her lineage, or there was some family incest or something going on, and then that goes into the lineage, the shame, the guilt, the frustration, the anger, and it goes in. And a lot of us have parents that had unresolved traumas, and they were angry and they yelled at us and they screamed and they hit us and they took out their trauma on us, and it stuck with us. So guess what? You're this stewing pot of a whole bunch of different traumas that maybe didn't even happen to you in this life, but because it comes in our genetics, because it comes through epigenetic lineage, we're sitting carrying this soup of trauma. And then if you want to go one level deeper, when our vibration is lowered enough, we can allow dark entities, shadow, malevolence, demons, whatever you want to call it, to come in through us. And then they just start to feed off of our collective fear. And if you can program it into the children, and then you can put it into their sexuality, and you can connect them through religion and all these other things, and say this is shameful and this is bad, that anytime we're having sexuality or pleasure and we're shamed about it, guess what? Our energy drops enough that they can come in, and then they're feeding off this beautiful, loving energy you're having with your partner. And it destroys the relationship. It makes you angry at each other and fights. So all of a sudden, new traumas are introduced around our sexuality. We don't even own our bodies and our energy. We're kind of like in the matrix, the batteries. We're a bunch of energy that's going on and on and on. And every time that our energy can get low enough, somebody can come in and keep pulling our energy down. So that's anxiety. That's the effect in our body, is that low vibration is just constantly connected into our nervous system. And we're just like, oh, what am I going to do? And things are going to get bad. And can you imagine our manifestation is going all over the place? Like, oh, we're manifesting trauma. We're manifesting good things. We're manifesting because our energy never gets high enough that we always believe something beautiful is going to happen to it. I always deserve abundance. I always deserve to have loving relationships, etc. So now we've got all this programming and all these thoughts and all these stories, and then we're lining it up with bad things that happened in our life, and we're anxious all the time because everybody's telling us we should manifest and things should be working out by now, and what the hell's wrong with you, and you're obviously not doing something right, or whatever. These are the stories, and we just stay in this ever propagating low vibration. So think of anxiety as that low vibration. It's that crunch that you have in your chest and the story that comes with it. Oh, and it's like this, oh, I'm going to die. Oh, this person's going to screw me over. This person's going to cheat on me in my marriage or my relationship. This person's going to steal my money or whatever. And guess what? Because you're afraid of it and what you're thinking about is manifesting, you've been created to constantly even manifest and keep co-creating this anxiety of things not working out because you didn't know you had a better choice. You had never had an experience of better, and your parents didn't either. So automatically it's like, oh, geez, we're slaves and we got to work hard and we're always going to be taxed. And thank you. Hi, Charles. Thank you for saying hi. Good to see you. Long time no talk. So all these collective traumas, these past stories, these past games, these past bullshit are stuck to us. So now how do you get out of this stuff? It's not simple, because I'm going to tell you right now, there's a million things in your brain that's going to say you're not worthy of it. So we got to quiet the brain down. We got to get back to having a clear mind, breathing, exercising, going in nature. Meditating can be the hardest thing. Everybody's like, oh, you got to meditate. And I'd go and sit and meditate, and my mind would be going, blah, 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 cloud, squirrel all day long. The easiest way I found to meditate, and some people may think this is weird or whatever, but give yourself self-pleasure. Go help yourself, whatever you want to call it. And then afterwards, just sit and lay there with yourself, because you're going to be guaranteed, if you just sit quiet and you don't let stuff go, the natural hormones, etc., that are going to go on in your body are going to instantly get you in a meditative state. They don't call it the petite mort or the small death for no reason. There is stuff designed, and hormones and oxytocins and serotonins and all this kind of shit that come out in just the proportions you need to get calm and quiet. But our religion and friends and everybody are going to say that's dirty and that's shameful and all this kind of shit. It's all bullshit. It's part of the control. It's part of keeping you low. So do this for you. Don't. Some people say, okay, well, I want to use porn or whatever. Porn doesn't really matter, but if you're demeaning women and you feel that you're demeaning other things or whatever, then yeah, you're going to get a low vibration. But there's a lot of really good stuff out there too. And women like porn just as much as men. It's not just some men thing or whatever, but go and give yourself some pleasure. That's the deepest act of self-love you can ever do. Breathe, get somebody to squeeze your feet if you got a partner with you before you start, to get grounded and get back into your body. And magic starts to happen. All of a sudden we're choosing, I can give myself pleasure. I don't have to go dating and find somebody and satisfy a partner and all this kind of stuff. That's where I start in the work that I do with people around awakening through sexuality. Get them grounded and get their self-pleasure back to them. And then once we get in that meditative state, we can start inserting some positive affirmations. I deserve abundance. I am worthy. I am happy. Things always work out for me. And then you're in that positive vibration, and they can't fuck with that positive vibration. And there's some things that you should probably learn. When you're about to give yourself pleasure, set an intention. Say, I use this energy to create a bubble of positivity and flush all the negativity out of my body and raise my vibration to the highest level possible. Then you're just going to get a buzz off of it, because every time before you just splashed your energy out, the dark forces around just grabbed onto that and munched it all up. And 5 minutes later, you felt like shit. No, set a bubble, set a container, create a sacred space. Just say that. I create a sacred space around me that no energies can attach during the course of my pleasure process. Poof. All of a sudden, guess what? Now, all of a sudden, the intention is set. You're powerful. You don't know how powerful you are. Say that. Set the intention. Okay, this energy is going to heal and raise my vibration. And then feel it. And then sit afterwards. I choose to be calm and quiet of mind for 15 minutes so I can actually feel my body. And even right there is probably going to amplify your positive and reduce your anxiety hugely. Your body needs that release. Can you imagine if you're like this all day long and you don't know what to do and you can hardly breathe and all this kind of stuff, and you finally give yourself pleasure and you say, oh, wow, I feel good. Why do I feel good? All these feel good hormones. I don't have to go to the doctor and get a pill and do an antidepressant and all this kind of shit. My body will give me exactly what I need. Self-talk is the next thing. Give yourself some positive self-talk. I did really well. Use gratitude. Say, frick this thing. So for me today, I had a big dispute with my cell phone company, and they don't. I changed my plan, and they didn't tell me it's like 75 cents a minute to call the US, and I got like $20 for the charges. So I phoned them up in a really positive state and had a good discussion with them. And I said, this is crazy, man. I said, I changed it, and now I'm kind of screwed. I can't call the US. And he's like, oh, we'll fix that for you, sir. And after we'd sat through all of it, I think I got a completely better plan that it covers everything in the US and Canada. And it was like $10 more a month, where any other way it was going to be 30 and I'm going to have to pay the extra. And he even credited me back for the money. So I stayed positive, and some positive came. And then a whole bunch of other positives came. And then at the same time, I also saw people that saw me smiling and saw me happy, and they wanted to jump in and take some of it. And I'm just like, no. Some lady came up and, I need money for gas. Here's my husband's ring. Give me some money. And I said, ma'am, I got bigger financial problems than you. I'm not interested. Thank you. Have a good day. Because she wasn't going to participate in my positive day. And I did not want anything to do with that kind of crap. So that positive thing, I sit and I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you, universe. Holy cow, these really beautiful small things made my day. Up until then, I'd had a whole bunch of really heavier things and clients attacking me and stupid things and charges on my cell phone and stuff, and I could change them into something better. So there's a next step in anxiety. Now, the single darkest thing that we're going to have to look at as part of our anxiety is our trauma. And I really truly believe anxiety is a result of trauma. Some of those things we talked about in the past were traumas that our parents experienced, our lineage experienced, having a house stolen, money stolen, rapes, all this kind of stuff. Well, those things occur to us as well. We may have had parents that maybe did something bad to us. We may have had a bank or somebody that loaned us money that screwed us over. And we're constantly in a state of hypervigilance. And hypervigilance is another version of what I call anxiety. It's like, oh, are you going to hurt me? Oh, I'm going to ask some questions. Oh, you got to tell me all about you before I can trust you, and blah, 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 blah. And you're going to find out that even you've asked all those things. And when you're in that state, you can't even see when they're out of integrity and other things. And you'll just get naturally traumatized again. So we need to get back to that calm state and get out of hypervigilance. Hypervigilance, it will kill you. It's like, oh, I did everything wrong. Oh, I missed that. Oh, I should have caught that. I should have done this. And then you constantly beat the shit out of yourself all the time. Where I will tell you right now that the human experience, and this isn't to demoralize people, it's to show people that they haven't done anything wrong, but you're almost guaranteed to fail. Unless you're born into a rich family or some magic happens, you'll get a bunch of money and you'll fail. This will work out and you'll fail. You'll constantly get pulled to your knees because the system wants you to do that. It wants you to fail, it wants you to feel small. It doesn't want you to rise up. It doesn't want you to question authority. And it happens over and over and over again. And this may sound really, really negative, but this is the joy of the human experience. We came here to this place that was really, really dark, had a lot of dark control, all this kind of stuff, to have experiences that we couldn't get anywhere else. And some of them are really dark and negative, and they involve pain and suffering and struggle. But I'm going to tell you another key is the word struggle and the act of struggling is resisting what is. So it's like, I can't stand this. I don't have enough money. Oh, I lost my house. Oh, this isn't working out. Oh, I got to kowtow to people or whatever. It's happening. Allow. You're in a state of disallowance. It's like, what exists? I can't have. I can't stand. So we're sitting there in this constant pressure against what is. Can you change what is? Can you change what happened? Can you change the past? What can you do other than right now? And you can't put faith in tomorrow and say, oh, this is all going to get better tomorrow. I'm going to get $1 million in my bank account and I'm all going to be free, because that'll disappoint you over and over and over again. And then you'll be in the same state. So right now, when my vibration is better, I'm in less anxiety. Go have a nice soft bath. Go for a swim. People like to exercise. Take some cell salts and put them underneath your tongue. Put some salt water in lots of water and drink it constantly. Go sit with yourself, and anything that's scary or feels uncomfortable or doesn't feel good in your heart is making you feel tight. Go ask questions about it. Get really calm and quiet and say, why am I feeling pain in my chest? And why are my arms always aching? Why is my hip always sore? And be really, really open to what comes back. Because I'm going to tell you right now, your body's like a little child that hasn't been heard for maybe 40, 50 years. And it just whispers. It's like, ouch, I hurt. Stop that. Please don't do that to me anymore. Please quit. Go and help people move when they're not helping you. Please stop doing these things that aren't honoring and respecting you. And if you listen those few times and then you take it to heart, you're going to find out that your body's going to start to trust you. And it's not going to scream all the time. It's like, I choose a better decision now. But in the past, you're not choosing a better decision. You're not listening. You're just like going from the head, and it's full of stories and you don't know what's going on, and you're just beating the shit out of your body like a whipped horse. Guess what? It feels anxiety. It feels discomfort. Anxiety is a state in the body of constantly turned on and of protection, of fight or flight, so that we can fix that, get back in our body, go and do things. Just sit, just try an experiment right now. Go and poke your calf with your fingernail and see how that hurts. Feel the pain and then scratch a little bit just so you can feel it really, really strong. And then go squeeze your feet and hold them for like a minute and just squeeze your feet, massage them, make it feel like you're getting back into your body, and then go touch that part of your body again. You're going to find out you're going to have 10 times more sensation. And that's you being out of your body. If your energy field is a foot above your body, do you think anything from your calf down is going to feel it? Do you even think your genitals are in your genitals in your body because your energy field is now a foot up? Anxiety will do that to you. Depression will do that to you. All these things that fuck up our vibration. So get aware of that. Get aware of the why. Okay, where did that start? Oh, it happened with my parents. And honestly, you don't even have to unwind it. You just have to be okay with it and let it pass through your body. If it's old emotions, it's fear, it's anger, it's scared. You may not know what the fear is from. It may be from 5 generations back of somebody pounding on their door and then they get killed by the king or whatever because they didn't give up their property. Can you really heal that? Or you just let the emotion go? It's like somebody finally needs to let this thing go because 10 generations have been carrying it on. That's as simple as the task we're being asked to do right now. Transmute the old energies, transmute the anchor that's around your lineage and all your family, and let it pass through you. Feel it. Don't be destroyed by it. Don't be afraid of it. Feel it. This is me. It's in my body. Oh, my hip hurts. Why does my hip hurt? Oh, let's breathe into my hip. Let's out what's in my hip. When have you done that? When do you go into your body and start flushing things out? Incredible for that. I talked in the last video about take your breath in, go as deep as you can, and then take one more sip. And then let it all out. Keep going. Until you wheeze. You've let all the stale air, all the dark energies, all the shit that's trapped in there. Do it 15, 20, 30 times until you get lightheaded. Then you're hyperoxygenating your body. Guess what? When you hyperoxygenate your body, you clear up some of the toxins. You change the base acidic ratio in your bloodstream, in your body, in all these key systems. And that's where it's supposed to be. Do you know what oxidization is? Well, oxidization is oxygen bonds with certain things, and it creates cancer in the body, and it creates all these other things. Get some more oxygen in there so that you're not in this weird state. And then all of a sudden, your body purifies, it flushes itself, it starts to move, your systems start to work properly. These are ways out of anxiety. Now, trauma is the hardest one of them all, because sometimes you need help. Now, I've worked through a lot of trauma on my own, and it's not for the faint of heart. But if you have somebody that's ever gone through the trauma, you've done shadow work, you've done all these things, you're prepared to go in and see the darkest self, it's easy. And then to hold space for someone and say, oh, what's in the shadow over there? You got to go take a look at it for a sec. I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to take a look at it. And we'll get through it 100 times faster than stumbling around in the dark. But that's the work I do with people. That's the work that I've done with myself. I would never take anybody to any place that I hadn't been myself, but I go stare into the frickin' caverns and caves of my darkness every day so I can be something better. And people see that in me and they don't understand why, and why I'm very direct and why I'll be truthful and all this kind of shit. Because beating around the bush and worrying about what other people think and being scared that I'm going to hurt somebody in this indirect way, it's far less hurtful to be direct and say, I'm seeing this thing in you and I'd love to talk about it, instead of like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Well, that's what most people will do, because they have that same fear in them and they're scared shitless to have a discussion with you about it. So trauma is probably the biggest one that you'll ever do. But once you've been taught key steps, learn how to go to your area of trigger, learn how to ask questions, learn how to ground your body, learn how to sit down. Those things I can go through in minutes that might have taken me months or years before. So these tools, these keys of getting out of anxiety, getting back into your body, are going to be gold to you. They're going to sit there and they're going to frickin' help you get through anything. And then it's going to go into your relationships. It's going to go into how you deal with your boss. It's going to go into your abundance. And you're going to look at all these things you didn't even know were there. And all of a sudden, one day, things are going to change. Your life's going to get better. My life got a lot better today. I was like really surprised all these beautiful things came. But I've been doing shadow work for 3 years straight. And I don't think everybody has to do the level of collective shadow work. I've been around a very long time, so I moved through a lot of stuff. But I want to teach everybody the tools. I want to give a community space where we can all sit down with each other and hold space for each other as this shit is coming up. Oh, by the way, maybe take a look there. Oh, what about that? You don't need a healer. You don't need somebody. You just need somebody that's ready and willing to sit with you and walk you through it. And that can be your neighbor and your friend. But until they've got the tools, it's just as scary for them as it is for you. And can they really hold space for you? So if you read, there's an article by Jamie Rhea. It's probably about four articles down on my timeline. He had a very beautiful description of what it's doing to us. He even said that more than likely your lineage has already set how far ahead you can go in the world, how successful you ever be before you're even born. And that fucking pissed me off, because that's what it is. It's like all that programming in there says you can't go to head, and money doesn't grow on trees, blah, 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 blah. Whatever your mother and father thought, more than likely is your dominant thought, and you don't know there's even any other choice. So time to clear through all this, time to get back to a state of manifestation, not of shorting ourselves out before we even start, because that's what darkness wants. That's what the lineage wants. It just wants to keep everybody at the status quo so it can be fed off of. No fucking way. No more in my world. And I'm hoping by talking about this to give you the same. So start asking questions. If you want to do this work and it's too scary, I work with people in this way. I can hook you up with other people. If you prefer females, you prefer other people. I know lots of people that do this work, but you got to want it. And you got to be willing to go deep and handle whatever shows up. And if you can do that, holy shit, your world is magic. And that's what I'm learning. And that's the gift I'd love to give to you. It doesn't take much. It's not even if we had a session and whatever, it's a couple hours to learn the tools and have your space held for you. And then having a backup, an emergency backup. If you get into something that you can't deal with or whatever, how beautiful would be that somebody that you could phone up and say, holy fuck, I'm terrified. Can you hold space for me for a few minutes while we get through this? Where can we get that now? Who can we go to trust? I do that all the time for people. So that's what I want. I want a simpler world. I didn't do all this work. I didn't go through all this pain and suffering to just sit here and say, hey, it's mine. I'm going to be better than you. And I don't want that. I want the whole world to be my playmates in this world, clean up their shit so that we can have a hell of a lot of fun as being unlimited, beautiful beings of light with purity and innocence. And we can only get through that by getting through our shames, getting through our traumas, get through of guilt. And that's what I'm here to help with. So I hope this helps. I know it helps if you take it to heart. I give this stuff freely. It's not, I want to get you onto my club and get me onto your page and all this kind of shit. But if you do the work that I'm telling you, you can get through it all by yourself. If you want some help, there's people here that'll help. There's lots of them. And if I get too busy, I can find 100 more, because there's people like Charles, people like a lot of the people that you see comment on my videos, they are pure spirits that are doing this work themselves, and they want to shine light. They want the world to be a better place, and no one's turned away. So anyways, I love you. Have a great one. Shining some light into you. If you're feeling anxiety, here's the gift of everything that you're going to need. And if you're missing anything, or it doesn't apply to you, or you think something's different, look me up. Look up, put it in the notes underneath, and people will give you lots of comments back. So have a great evening. I love you all so very much. Keep shining, and I'm proud to have you on this journey with me. So take it easy. Have fun. Sleep well. Talk soon. Next live, probably again tomorrow in the afternoon. Bye.